really leaning into the VW thing.
Do you know what that sound is?
Nope.
Mike does. He's laughing.
Yeah, I know.
That is the sound of a stoner.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's why I said leaning into the VW thing.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Carmudgeon Show. My name is Jason Cammisa, and that is Derek tam-scott.
And on this episode, we talk about Jason's most recent vehicular acquisition, which sits behind us, or I guess...
Don't tell them that.
It is a 1996 Volkswagen Cabrio, not Le.
People will call it a cabriolet, like, ole!
Oh, it needs a sombrero.
But it's not a gigantic
sombrero.
No. It's built in Osnabrück in Germany. Okay. These are not the other Mark IIIs are Mexican built.
This episode of the Carmudgeon Show is sponsored by...
It's definitely not Granada tires, and you'll find out why. Also, probably not Laufen tires, but definitely by Fredestein tires, which make tires that hopefully don't Granada at 2,900 miles, whatever.
Yeah, my Giulietta Spider Veloce had ancient Fredestein Sprint Classics on it. And I was like, oh, I should get new tires. These are like 15 years old. And then I started driving it like kind of an asshole. And I was like, they're fine. And I never replaced the tires on that car. And then the subsequent owner wanted to do a California road trip. And he took it on a California road trip and did like 1,000 miles in it. And they were fine too. So I think properly stored, those ones, at least on that particular car, lasted quite well. I was impressed. But I was like all set to buy new tires and decided it wasn't necessary after using them.
You demanded more. You demanded a better tire. You demanded Fredestein. Yeah, I demand to never drive a car on a 1,000-mile road trip with Granadas on it again.
Well, hopefully that dream can come true.
I hope so. Okay, stay tuned. You're going to clap. We're going to jingle, and then we'll be right back to tell the story.
I thought that one was good.
Okay, are we going to have a funeral here?
What died? Who or what died?
I did the unthinkable, and it's your fault once again.
You bought an automatic car.
Oh, God, no, don't be stupid. I sold a car.
Congratulations. Yeah, my condolences.
It might be the fault of this podcast, but I mentioned to you on this podcast that maybe I should sell the Beat. And you met someone who said, I'm looking for a Beat. And you stupidly, thank you.
Stupidly
gave that person my number. And next thing you know, I'm beatless.
Jason is not beating.
It happened so fast. It happened so fast I couldn't even think about it because it was right before car week. I showed the car to the buyer. He was like, all right, I'm interested. I just need to arrange some logistics. I went to car week, and during car week, he's like, okay, do you want me to send you a deposit? And I'm like, car week. I can't even think about this. And the day I got home, today work? And I was like, okay, forgot to give him like the binder with all the receipts. Like, he's local, so it's fine. But I did sell the Honda Beat.
Congratulations. My condolences.
Thank you.
Is this potentially related to the elephant in the room? Should we talk about tires now? Do you want to talk about tires now, or do you want to do that later?
This whole episode's going to be about tires, but not in the way that anyone thinks it is. And I'm not sure I've told you what happened on.
Yes.
Okay. So the red elephant in the room, not pink, is a 1996 Volkswagen Cabrio that I think I mentioned the possibility of buying on this show. I think I actually...
Well, it looks like it functioned.
Ooh, it functioned. It happened. It is flash red.
Flash red?
Yeah.
Seriously? This is not Tornado?
It's not Tornado, which makes me realize that all of my old Volkswagens are flash red, flash silver. So it's my triple flash, and then Uranus gray or whatever.
No, Urano gray is non-metallic. That's the color that my e-Golf was. Yes.
I don't even know the color of my own car.
Oh
whatever, don't care.
Clearly.
It's an e-Golf. Whatever, it's fucking gray. And I wish it was the previous color, which was brown, which was a grayish brown that I liked much better. Yeah, so this happened. It was someone who, I think I mentioned this, contacted me on LinkedIn, said, hi, I got your name.
Jason is doing car deals on LinkedIn now.
I think it's really, word has gotten out that I'm a whore and that I like old VWs. And this gentleman was like, hey, I am the original owner of a 1996 Volkswagen Cabrio, and I would like it to go to a good home. And I responded, this was 6 months ago, 9 months ago. And I responded, sure, okay, I'll help you find a good home for it. Send me pictures. Here's my email address. And it took him more than 6 months. And so I randomly get this email, and it's like, hey, as per our conversation on LinkedIn. And I'm like, www.linkedin.com, like last messages, search, found it. And he said, here's a picture of it. Here's 2 pictures of it. And it's got 71,000 miles on it. And I have all books and records. And I took one look at the picture and literally said out loud, fuck.
Yes, I have done that before.
God damn it, I have to buy. I mean, and you just knew immediately from the picture because the paint is red the fuck red. All of the trim is black the fuck black. The leather is perfect. I mean, the car just looks like, I don't know, 20,000 mile, 2-year-old car.
Yeah.
In pictures. And so, I found it a good home.
Mm-hmm. So your own. The call is coming from inside the house.
I don't know if technically I'm allowed to call my own home a good home. And I have plans for this car. That
garage. The garage. It comes from a good garage.
It comes from a good garage. Yeah. So the whole point of this car, which I have not said to the owner. So if any of you guys know the previous owner of this car, keep your mouth shut.
Oh no.
Well, what I can't tell him, he wants it to go good home, and I'm going to hack it apart.
You're not going to hack it apart.
Completely untrue. Well, okay. You drove the car. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
These cars were supposed to be sort of cheap cars when they were new. That's the Volkswagen position, right? They're supposed to be people's cars.
It's $23,000. It was a lot of money.
What is that? That's how much was a Miata at the time?
I don't know.
15?
15? 16? 17?
When I was driving it, it's a really great example, and so it's very cool to see one that's in nice shape because you almost never see them in nice shape. But as my experience driving it is, this does exactly what the consumer would have expected it to do, and it's kind of a nice place. It feels sort of premium to be in there, which I was probably not expecting. Like the top of the shift knob thing is exactly the same as a Porsche one, so that immediately like sets a good sort of mood for me, or like an impression of expensiveness. Like a lot of the switchgear and headlight switches and stuff like that are like evoke Audis of this era, which also made it feel expensive. So like this is like a young professional with a bit of money, or like a wealthy daughter of like kind of first car type of car. Yes, I did not feel extremely heterosexual when I was driving this car, to be fair. But yeah, it's a very pleasant, nicely made thing that is nice to interact with, and it made me want like a Mark III VR6 GTI or something, because it like would be the same thing but more sporting intent in terms of.
Those are built in Mexico, and I don't remember my Mexican-built Mark III four-door being this nice interior-wise. I'm sure it's all the same crap, but that car had 29,174 miles on it when I got it. It was 8 years old and already had 2 hatches replaced for rust, and it lived in an air-conditioned storage facility in Florida. They were not high-quality machines. That's
disappointing. This feels expensive.
Well, it's German built. It's built at Karmann in Osnabrück, on the same line that built my Scirocco and my other Cabriolet. For the record, the Cabriolet, the bitch basket, the 16 valve is not going anywhere. That we've discussed this. That is, I think, the most fun car I've ever driven. Possibly you too. You still have
it. Made me laugh.
At or with?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. And so yeah, my impressions of this car, I cannot believe how fucking slow it is.
You had told me that it was going to be very slow, and so I wasn't as offended by it because you had set the bar very low, but it is definitely
it puts the
leisurely.
It puts the slow in
2-point slow, yeah.
That engine, as I drive this thing around, I think this is the exact powertrain, and this is the exact car that is a GTI. Right. So in the US, for the Mark III, a GTI was this 2-point slow. It was an 8-valve, single overhead cam, 115 horsepower, 32 pound-feet of torque.
It was available with the VR6
That was a separate trim
well.
Level, right? But a GTI had this powertrain. And all I keep thinking is the product planner who did that should have been shot. Like there is nothing. If you take my 16 valves, which were the predecessor, and the Mark II, that was the GTI 16 valve. And
how much do those cars weigh? A 2-point-slow GTI Mark III?
26, 27.
Yeah, it's porky.
About the same as this. Porky.
Well, considering what a Mark I weighs because you say when the first GTI came to the United States, didn't they have like 90 or 110 horsepower or something
90,
absurd?
90.
Yeah,
112 in Europe.
But that's pretty sporting in that thing because it weighs so little compared to 2,600 pounds.
But then this is 27 and change, apparently. I haven't weighed it yet. But I just keep thinking, it's not even how slow it is. It's the complete and total lack of character.
Yeah.
Like the engine it's got a bassy note, but it's so quiet and it so never wakes up. And this car doesn't want to actually make it to redline.
Yeah.
I just think, no, if you drive, I'm sorry for anyone there who drives a Mark III GTI 2-point slow, just sell it. Like, I don't think, I've driven these cars with cams. You can put cams in them, you can wake them up. But stock, fuck no. It's the opposite of GTI.
Yeah, well, this is not a GTI.
Well, it's sure as shit is not. But it's got beautiful leather, and it's the perfect donor car to make a Cabrio VR6, which is the plan. So again, speaking to those at home, if anyone knows of a good VR, especially a low mileage, I'd like to find a GTI VR6 or a Jetta GLX VR6 Mark III. Ideally one that just got tagged in the back and is totaled. And I can buy it for the driveline because I will do a double subframe swap. So I'll drop the front subframe, which will then include suspension, brakes, steering, engine, transmission, all of it, and the rear for exactly the same equipment minus the engine and steering. And this will be a factory, as close as you can get to a factory Cabrio VR6. Cabrio. And I did this because I don't want or need another Cabriolet or another convertible. But I need a VR6 in my life and a 12 valve VR6. Like it's tempting to go to a 3.6 liter or 3.2 and go get 300 horsepower, but I don't care. I just want the noise.
So if I ever wanted a GTI with a VR6, was that available in Europe?
Yeah.
So that would be the ticket if you didn't want one of the Mexican built ones.
They're 25 now. I guess you can get a German built and you can get a 4-door GTI VR6 in Germany.
I don't think I need a 4-door, but
a car like that's big enough with a back seat that's big enough to fit real humans should have back doors, I think. But yeah, and the Euro cars often got.
I bet there's like 6 of them that are left, and they're 30,000 euros because there are none left.
And they had more horsepower than ours. I think.
Were they 172 here?
72. The Corrado was 178 in the US, but the Corrado VR6 got a 2.9 liter with 190 horsepower in Europe. I think. Am I crazy no, I may be crazy. I think the Mark III, they were all 172 horsepower, 175 or 6 PS. Anyway. So yeah, that is the future donor car of.
It's not the donor, it's the donee, isn't it?
Yeah. Right? The future recipient of a powertrain and everything.
Once you find the right VR6 with 5 lugs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to leave it stock visually?
I think so. So the Cabrios
you don't want to put smoked rear lights, the factory smoked rear lights?
I could do that. If the goal here is to make a factory Cabrio VR6, I'll replace the Wolfsburg badges that are on the front fenders with VR6 badges that were on the cars that had that. And I will probably do full with fog lights. So they're aftermarket. So remember, I had a Mark III 4-door VR6, and I modified the fuck out of that car, and it was great
to
some ways. A little bit. I mean, it was a little too low, and it was a little bit too. I mean, I tracked the hell out of it. I did a lot, but visually, I love the way that car looked. So there's a Euro. There's like a rubber lip under the car, under the front air dam, and the VR6
the IS lip
is deeper. Yeah,
325 IS lip.
So I'll do the VR6 lip, fog lights, and I'll do a headlight upgrade in terms of like LEDs and xenons. But otherwise, and just GTI wheels. I don't think I need to go to like something enormous. I don't want to ruin the ride quality, which is spectacular on this car.
It's really cushy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it does have substantial cowl shake, and I am a bit concerned about adding 50% horsepower to this car because it does definitely have cowl shake.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just ignore it. No, I will put structural bracing on it. So I'll do the upper shock tower up front, which will get rid of probably half of the cowl shake.
Half? You think?
Yeah, they make a big difference.
Really?
I mean, I only can speak about my Cabrio. Or my Cabriolet. So I went back and watched at a Motor Week, and John Davis is like, and this structure is a full 20% stiffer than the outgoing Cabriolet. And I'm like, 20%.
of nothing.
Times 0 is nothing. But it does feel quite a bit stiffer structure of that car. But it is slower than the Rover. Than the Rover was with its stock horsepower. 10.4 to 60, according to the magazines back in the day. It feels like 31.4.
There's a big difference between 10.4 and 15.4. I mean, actually.
Why?
No, I mean, like, there's a big difference that adding that 5 seconds on. I mean, you think of both of those as slow, but 15 seconds to 60 is like...
This car is borderline undrivable. And the weird thing
I don't think it's that bad, but you do have to use the throttle like a light switch, which is either it's 100% or 0% and nothing in between.
You probably also didn't go on the highway.
I went on for one exit.
Okay. There are often times when you're matted in fifth on not much of an uphill and it's losing speed and you have to go down to fourth. Yeah. And I'm just not used to that. Even in the Rover, barely. I mean, I made it up the grapevine, as we now all know, because I crashed my Rover. Don't forget to go to jasonsentme.com for an insurance quote. I made it up that hill in fifth gear. I don't think this would do it in fifth. I think you'd have to be down in third.
Doesn't have the cubes.
Doesn't have the cubes. But it is almost identically 3 times the displacement of the Beat. Almost twice the horsepower. Because that put 54 to the
So you
Beat
got a lot more car, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And it seats twice as many people and probably has twice as much crash space.
It's faster too.
I don't know. The one thing I
definitely think this is faster than the Beat.
I don't know. The Beat and the Rover were pretty neck and neck. And I don't know.
Really?
Beat's quicker to like 35 or 40. I don't know. We'll see. I will get the Beat back for a race. How about that? I will ask the new
We also know other Beat owners if we need. In fact, we know someone with a red Beat.
There we go. A red Beat and the strawberry basket.
So this is a Cabrio, not a Cabriolet. Correct. Is that right? Cabrio is the Mark III terminology.
Correct.
And as I understand it, there was a facelift on the front half of this car later on in production.
The back got it too. Yeah.
Okay.
So they call that the Mark, in Volkswagen terms, it's referred to the Mark 3.5.
Okay.
So it is a Mark 3. It is mechanically identical to this car, but it was given a facelift to make it look like the Mark 4 cars. So the weird thing about the Mark 1, we call it Cabriolet, but technically it was originally called the Rabbit Cabriolet or the Golf Cabriolet, depending on market. And then Cabriolet. And then it was renamed just Cabriolet later in life. Mine is a Cabriolet because it was an 88. And that was based on a Mark 1, but its production went all the way till 1993.
Because they never made a Mark II Cabriolet.
Correct.
Functionally.
And they facelifted it a couple times. Mine is what is called...
But it still reads as a Mark 1.
Kind of. It looks like a Mark II. At the end, my car, if you think about it, the Mark II and the Mark I looked so similar.
But it's got Mark I rear lights and it's got Mark I like front lights, right? Or yours does?
The Mark II GTI 16 valve had the same biggie little headlights. So, and that got the Clipper kit, which is the body kit.
Body kit. That's the very 80s looking tuner hot boy stuff.
With your world bumpers. So, one bumper for the whole world that were painted. So Mark I Cabriolet spanned both Mark I and Mark II, and then Mark III spanned Mark III and Mark IV and was never made again. Yeah,
they made the Beetle Cabriolet.
And then the Audi A3 eventually.
Yeah.
Which is...
And now the T-Roc.
Is that
The T-Roc Cabriolet is the only open Volkswagen you can buy now.
I love how you know that. I didn't know that. The T-Roc is dead to me. Volkswagen's dead to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a Mark 3.0. And I've already put it on the dyno. Okay, so the whole story of... It's not my fault. So
Did you break your previous record for the lowest number of horsepower ever on that dyno?
No. Well, it was the lowest of the day. So, all right. I flew... A buddy of ours decided he was stupid enough to say yes when I said, road trip, let's go to Tacoma to get this car. So we flew into Tacoma, Ubered over to Griot's Garage. Now, Griot's Garage is the car care product place.
Griot Motors.
Griot Motors is next door. Griot Motors is a restoration shop. I did not know they existed, but they exist. And same family, same as Philip, Richard Griot. Richard Griot started Griot's Garage. His son Philip started Griot's Motors, as far as I understand, and it's my guess that he did that because Richard, his father, has the most amazing cars and needs somebody to work on them. And in inside of Griot's garage, there was a team of mechanics working on restoring. So they did an Evo 2 Cosworth Mercedes, and they've done 2 hot Mark 1 GTIs. They're a US Rabbit that they put a turbo diesel in that makes like 200 and something horsepower and gets 50 miles per gallon.
That's fun.
Fun as fuck. And then he did a Eurocar, I think it's a Eurocar, with an ABF motor. That's ABA. And so this is the 2-liter 16 valve with modern fuel injection. The sort of peak 16 valve is 150 horsepower. So I have an ABF motored Mark 1 GTI, all custom interiors. The cars are gorgeous. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to Rich Griot and I'm like, hey, I'm coming up your way. This is the week before Car Week. Are you going to be around? And I'd love to stop by and say hi with my new shitbox. And he was like, no, I'm already going to be in Monterey, but stop by the shop, or in even better, have the guys do a PPI for you. And I'm like, I don't need it. And he's like, you need it. Don't be stupid. You're 900 miles from home. Like, just let's get eyes on it and make sure. This is why Rich Griot's a fucking saint. So it turns out the owner is 5 minutes away from Griot's Motors. So he drops off the car and they do a PPI for me. And I think the first adjective in the email that I got from them was exquisite about the condition. And I was like, okay, I'm buying an exquisite motor car. And while we were there, they even pulled the cover off and looked at the timing belt. And I knew the timing belt was 17 years old, but it only had like 3,800 miles on it, or some small amount of miles. This car's barely been driven in the last 20 years. And so they very professionally advised immediately doing the belt, but they have, I think he said, the 3 certified VW master techs, all of whom said, fuck it, we would just drive it. Like, it's totally fine. You don't have anything to worry about. But I just started having nightmares about what the tow truck bill would be when this thing pops an engine in the middle of like fucking Oregon and I have to tow it 1,000 miles home. So I called them and I'm like, I know it's the week before Car Week and I know I'm not giving you any time and you have 3 days to do this. Can you guys slap a belt on this for me? And he's like, yeah. And they just put a timing belt on it for me. Amazing that they did that. And they did it quickly. I mean, I don't remember what book time was versus what they did, but I said, we don't need water pump. We don't need anything else. Just slap a belt on it so I can make it home. So it was a reasonable amount of money. They did not charge me a ridiculous markup on the belt because I think the belt retails at $200 when it's like $31 for whatever. They were amazing. So go pick up the car in the parking lot, swap in that power acoustic head unit with Apple CarPlay because there's no way I'm doing a 900-mile drive without CarPlay. Stereo is fucking really good on the car also. And so we got a tour of the facility and some of Richard's cars, which are all just ridiculous. He's the person I want to be when I grow up and become wealthy. And they were working on some pretty cool stuff there, including an E30 touring in Poipel.
Oh, that's cool.
They were doing a full S14 swap. So a double E30 M3 subframe swap. So a full M3 wagon, which is pretty cool.
They also did an E30 M3 shooting brake in red with an S60.
S60. No, M60. I think it was a regular V8. Yeah, they call that the detail wagon. They did that for SEMA probably almost 10 years ago now. It was a red E30 that they box flared.
It looked like an E30 coupe, but it was a shooting brake.
Yep. That car's gorgeous. And if I remember correctly, it's got a sub, like a 15-inch sub in the back or something. Like, it's just fucking, these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So huge thanks to Griot's Motor, because as I realized later, things that sit tend to come apart.
Sititis.
So,
okay. So how was the drive?
It was a series of running into people that I randomly didn't know that I was going to run into. Like, it turns out we then left and went to go drive a C63 AMG that had been manual swapped. And we'll put his Instagram handle below, whatever. This guy's super sweet, super nice, does really great work. So we drove that around and had a little bit of fun. Turns out I was like 3 miles from a friend who lives in Germany, but has a house in Seattle. And we wound up like having a barbecue. Like, it was just this like great series of running into people. And we left there and went to Tectonics Tuning. Tectonics is outside of, Portland, basically, or out Salem. And this is the third, I think, time they're doing an open house, which is basically just a big party weekend of Volkswagen fuckery. And like, come there, you camp out in the field, and they did an engine blow, which is you've never done that, is a VW show thing. You never done that? Never heard of
this?
Okay. So back east, we used to go to like all these VW shows. And one of the things that would happen was they would push a car up, drain all fluids out of it. And then you do buy raffle tickets for like $5 or whatever. And guess how long the car would stay running before it exploded. And start it, rev it to red line and just let it go. And there were times when it was 48 seconds. There were times when it was like 40 minutes. And it was, oh my God, it's the best shit ever.
You can only do this with cheap cars. You would never do this with a Porsche.
Oh, that's true. Imagine you have an engine blow at the Mura Festival. This one was the craziest one ever because Colin, the guy who founded Tectonics, is a mad genius. Like he's just the man. I've been buying parts from him from 28 years and he's always just the best advice and they make really good shit. And I see this engine and it's a 16 valve. And I'm like, why are you blowing up a 16 valve and not an 8 valve? He's like, well, the bottom end's actually an 8 valve, but it doesn't matter because this head was kind of done. And so we'll see what happens. And then everyone's kind of looking around and he's like, and it should be pretty fun. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, I don't remember what cams he had put in it, but standalone engine management with no rev limit and crazy cams. And he's like, oh, and then I said no oil in it, right? He's like, oh, no, it has oil. There's 2 quarts of oil in it. I'm like, that's it? And he's like, and 2 quarts of gasoline.
Oh no.
Because he wanted a Fireball. And the joke was it wasn't in a car. It was on a pallet, basically with like a little chicken wire fence around it. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind / you're my new best friend.
And so what was the observation distance? Is this like when they detonated the first nuclear weapon on Earth and everybody's in a bunker across a field or...
Pretty much that, yeah. I mean, I think the closest people were probably like 20 feet away, not far.
Oh,
I was behind the crowd.
I would not.
Yeah, I was ducking down with my phone held high because I'm like, well, I was left-handed, because I literally thought if I lose a hand, it should be my left hand so I can still shift, right? I mean, and it was 10,000 RPM. That was Colin's estimate was it would sit around, hang around 10 grand, and unfortunately, it lasted only. I didn't measure it. I have video. We'll put the video in. It's probably only 30 seconds or so. And the flywheel exploded. The motor was fine. So he was so mad. And I'm like, Colin, you have to put a rev limiter on it because you need it to last long enough to get so hot that it can ignite the fire when the rod comes flying through the side. And then you have you have to ignite the fuel. So maybe next year it'll be
He's refining his technique.
But I saw so many of these back east. I never saw a flame. We never saw anything. If anything, it would just go, and like a little piece of block would go right out and that'd be the end of it. So that was fun. But as soon as I pull up, he's like, oh my God, that thing's gorgeous. You're putting on a dyno, right? And I'm like, well, it's got a lot of piston slap when it's closed. When it's cold, so I don't know if this motor's all that healthy. And he was like, A, they have short skirts on their pistons, so they all make a little bit of noise when they're cold. And B, we don't care. It makes 87. It will make 97 horsepower on our dyno if it's healthy. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, throw it on. So there's a crowd gathered around, and everyone's watching these like turbo VR6s cars that like are making the most amazing noise ever. Like VR6s, I just can't wait to have one again. And so they're, whoa, and then this comes up and you just don't hear anything except for people laughing.
Rollers, the dyno rollers.
Which are barely moving because the car doesn't have enough power to get out of its own way. And it's just, ooh. And the guy's like, all right, Jason, what's your comfort level? I'm like, blow it the fuck up. Colin says he's got 5 spare motors inside. We can have a new one in 2 hours. And he's like, okay. I'm like, just give me a dyno run from idle till the limiter. Like, no problem. So it's just the most pathetic thing in the world. And everyone's laughing. So when it finished, it put 97.8 horsepower.
Oh,
Colin pronounced it,
high
quote,
performance.
Very healthy. It does have a K&N in it. I didn't do it. So it is a very healthy 2-point, very slow. And so, yeah. So we left Tectonics like on top of the world. We're in the world's nicest and most powerful stock Cabrio. And we're like, I don't know, an hour away. And I'm like, man, it's really windy, isn't it? And my buddy's like, why? I'm like, it's pulling to the left like a motherfucker. And he's like, well, yeah. And we do. There's a lot of wind noise. We're doing like
100
kilometers an hour in the middle of nowhere. And And I let go of the steering wheel, and the thing makes a fucking left turn. It's not pulling to the left. It's like okay. And I'm like, let me slow down to like a reasonable 60 miles an hour just from I was not cruising at 100, but I was cruising at 80. And as soon as we slowed down a bit, there was a little bit of vibration that had formed, and it went from bad to I've never felt anything like this. And I'm like, we're losing a wheel or something's about to blow. So we get it. We just coast off this exit. And as we're slowing down, the vibration's going through phases as it resonates through the whole lack of structure. And as we're slowing down to the stop sign, I've never seen anything like this. The wheel is doing 180 degrees, left, right, like 180. I'm like, oh, fuck. We're going to lose a wheel. Something's really horribly wrong. So we go across the highway and we pull into this gas station with like, I don't know how to describe this without being mean to America, but like the most scary place I've ever broken down in my life. And there are two guys there, clearly residents of Little Bethlehem, and no teeth. And then there's a carbon copy of my minivan, like a 2018 Dodge Grand Caravan with the hood up and 7 kids around it. So we pull in and they're all looking at us, like 2 guys in this cabriolet. I'm like, oh no, the Little Bethlehem guys are going to shoot us. The kids are going to beat us up. Like, it's just not going to end well. And so we get out and look and the tires are fine. Like, what? How? There's no way this is vibrating this bad. And tires are okay. So I go and look at the tire iron and all of the lug nuts are tight and everything looks totally fine. I'm like, well, let's just jack up the driver's side of the car high enough, hopefully, that we can get the rear wheel off as well and swap it front to rear. And then we know it's not an axle, it's not something else driveline, it's just a wheel or tire or something. So we get it up on the little Widowmaker jack that came with the car, just high enough that if you pull up on the rear fender, you can get the back wheel off the ground, pull the front wheel off, and it looks fine. And then I notice the top of it doesn't look fine. The tread is, when you're sort of looking at the top of the tread, would be flat across a radial tire. The inside is bowed up about an inch. So the inside circumference would be an inch times 2 times pi. So 6 inches longer circumference than the outside. And I'm like, well, that explains why it's pulling to the left, right? So the tire had failed internally, whatever, something / everything had failed internally.
What kind of tires were they? And what model year?
They were Granada. That tire was a 2011 with 3,800 miles on it.
That should be sufficient for survival.
One would think. So we've swapped them.
Granada,
because it grenaded was the joke.
And I've never heard of this. Had you?
No.
Huh. Okay.
Do you think I mean, a lot of people hadn't heard of Fredestein, but I guarantee you, Fredestein makes a more high quality tire than Granada. So we get everything sorted out and the kids are like laughing at us. And I'm like, all right, you guys, what the fuck are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we blew the motor in the minivan. I was like, what? You can't blow a motor in a Pentastar? And they're like, well, it's got 270,000 miles on it. It's a rental. I was like, oh my God.
That's a very long-term rental.
We're at the top of a mountain. And I'm like, what happened? He said, it started overheating and we pulled over and it locked up. So we're waiting for a tow truck and we've been here for hours. And I'm looking at Little Bethlehem and Little Bethlehem 2. And I'm like, oh God, are you guys okay? Yeah, fine. They were super cool. They were all fresh out of high school. And so we had a bunch of laughs. He was like, hey, do you watch car videos? Yes. And he's like, have you heard of, what's his name? The guy from Donut. I'm like, Humphrey? James? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know him. And he's like, have you ever heard of, oh man, what's his name? In Florida, I'm like, Freddie? And he was like, no. I'm like, Tavares? He was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's Freddie. I know Freddie. And he's like, why are you using his first name? I'm like, because I know Freddie. He's like, how do you know Freddie? Never heard of me, never heard of us, never heard of anything to do, which is awesome, right? It's better that way. So he's like, can I follow you on Instagram? So he follows me on Instagram and I'm like, you know what would be funny? Why don't we stage a photo where you guys are just pointing and laughing at me at my new car, and that'll be my intro to the world on my Instagram of like, Jason bought a car that's not embarrassing at all. And I wanted to lean on the car, but I'm not going to lean on paint. So I popped the hood and I realized that my mistake when I said, oh, this is going to make it look like the car broke down, but whatever. This car speaks English. This car understood me. And this car's a vindictive little bitch. So we take the picture. Everyone's having a great time. Fist bump, guys. If you like, good luck with the tow truck. I hope you guys get out of here safe and whatever. Go to get in the car. No start. I'm like, this is kind of funny. Key out, key back in. No start. Now they're looking, and I'm like, nothing to see here. Fucking Bethlehem too is like, well, think we're going to need 2 tow trucks. And I'm like, the fuck we are. I'll push this thing out of here. I'm not dying in this fucking gas station parking lot. It did not start. It would not start. And I'm noticing no tack bounce while I'm cranking. And I turn the key and I don't hear the fuel pump prime. And I'm like, pump ceased. So I go into the car, I'm looking for the pump, I pull the seats out, I can't find the fucking pump anywhere. And I'm like, don't tell me I got to drop the tank to do a pump in this car. I don't have a manual, I have nothing, I have no tools because I flew up there. And finally I'm smacking the fuel tank, nothing. Like, okay, fuck. So I go into the hood and I have my buddy turn on the key and crank, and I don't feel any vibration at all on the fuel line. And I'm like, we have a dead fuel pump. So I went through 700 fucking fuses. Everything's fine. And I'm like, well, let me check for spark. Pull the spark plug wire out, crank it. No spark.
No spark.
And no fuel. Of course, I did the thing up the exhaust pipe to see if I could smell fuel. No fuel, no spark.
ECU?
Well, I thought 3 things. Number 1, alarm failure. Most likely thing, the alarm went off. And it's malfunctioning. Number 2, ECU, or number 3, crank position sensor. So I'm like, let me just, I unplug everything, unplug the battery, plug it all back in, lock the car, unlock it, whatever, no change. But during the course, this whole thing takes about a half an hour, during which everyone's laughing at me. And finally,
Did
I turned the key.
Did the tow truck arrive?
No, not for, we hadn't called for us.
No, for them.
No. Tow truck didn't arrive ever for them. At 10:30 that night, they found a taxi, 2 taxis that would come and get all of them and bring them to a hotel. Like, those kids could have been killed. Yeah, scary. But I just reached in the car and I was listening in the back seat.
I'm surprised you didn't kill the battery by this point.
I know, I never let it crank for more than like 10 compression strokes because I don't have a jumper box. I don't have anything. And it just, and I'm like, get in, go. And like, everyone just looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, beat it. Let's go fucking move out of the way. Let's get the fuck out of here. And my buddy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, we're getting on the fucking road and coasting down the other side of this mountain and winding up in a town that has cell service and not meth. Like, I just want to break down somewhere nicer. So as soon as we get moving.
Pretty quotable. You should put that on the back of your next jasonsentme.com. I just want to break down somewhere nicer.
I mean, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
There are places you want to not spend the night in your car on the side of the road.
What time of day is this?
6 p.m.
Ugh. Yeah.
We're running out of light.
Yeah.
So it might have even been late. Yeah, probably 6. So we get as soon as we get moving again, the car goes. I'm like, oh, it's the front right tire. God damn it. The vibration is coming from the front right. But then we get up to highway speed and the pull's gone. And I'm like, motherfucker.
They both. Yeah.
Yep. So I was trying to go as slow as possible, but 55, there was so much vibration that I couldn't see out of the mirrors, and like the shifter was like, it was bad. So I'm like, get on the phone and find the closest U-Haul so we can rent a flatbed trailer, and then find an Enterprise and we can rent an F-150 and we're just towing this shit home. Like, we're never going to make it. And you know how that hysteria sort of builds.
Yeah.
And like, he would find a trailer, but then there would be no truck. And then the next city, there would be a truck, but no trailer. And then this Hertz was closed for the weekend, and this Enterprise wasn't open, and this U-Haul, it was just, he was like panicked on the 2 different phones the whole time. Like, no, I need a trailer. No, I want a flatbed. It doesn't matter what I'm fucking towing with it. Just tell me if you have one available. Cause the U-Haul thing is like, we need to know the year, make, model, engine, trim size, and everything of the vehicle you're towing with. It has a 1 billion pound towing capacity. Just tell me if you have a fucking trailer. But they won't tell you if you have a trailer first until you tell them what you have. So this is all happening, and finally I'm like, we gotta get this wheel off of the front of this car because it's bad. So we coast into another gas station down at the bottom of a hill, and I'm like, not turning it off because I've never had a crank position sensor fail while running.
Fail, yes.
But they fail when they're sitting, like this one did. So jack up the car on the other side, swap front to rear on the right side. This one failed internally in exactly the same way, but only for about a third of the circumference of the tire. So that's why it was vibrating like that. So threw that on the back and then put gas in it with it running, which is something I have never done. I was waiting for 62 check engine lights and a fucking...
I've done this before in a car with a weak battery.
In an OBD2 car?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was worried. I was worried that like it was going to start sucking in air or like, you know, it's going to start doing some stupid vacuum self-test. It was fine. Long story short, we get on, as soon as we start moving, the back of the car goes, it's twerking. I mean, those tires were so out of round that the car was visibly twerking and you could see the whole thing. At 70 miles an hour, it was pretty smooth. At 55, undrivable.
What?
So I just did like 67, 68 miles an hour my goal was get into the state of California because then the one-way rentals from wherever the fuck in California to wherever the fuck we were going in California, San Francisco, seemed much cheaper. So I'm like, if we get across the border into California, we will get, I think Redding was was the first big town.
Yes.
And we'll just stop in Redding, we'll get a hotel room, and tomorrow morning when the car doesn't start, we'll just walk over or Uber over to a U-Haul. And so we checked U-Hauls open, they had trailers, I found a pickup truck, da-da-da-da-da. And so we get to the hotel at like 10:30 at night, like just twitching. Frazzled. Get up the next morning, starts right up. Like, okay, let's get out of here before it dies. And Thunder Hill Raceway was 87 miles away. And I'm like, well, we only have to make it 87 more miles. So we pull up to Thunder Hill, like buzzing from the vibration. We go to sign in. There's a track day going on. And I'm like, all right, so what time did your tire guy get here? Because it was early in the morning. And she's like, oh, the tire shop closed. What? What do you mean closed? You can't not have a tire shop at a racetrack. And she's like, yeah, no, we don't know why, but they closed. I'm like, well, someone will have a fucking tire for me. So we drive in. Turns out our friend Rachel's there, racing her Spoon Civic. So we say hi to Rachel. I find a mobile tire guy that's over there. And I'm like, hey, any chance you have a 14? And he was like, no. And I'm like, 2 14s? And he was like, no. And so he goes and checks his warehouse and doesn't have any tires. And I'm like, well, there's Miatas all over the place. Like somebody in a Miata will have a 14-inch tire. No. Every Miata had 15s on it. So then I had to pee and I was like walking back and I'm like, let me take a walk past all the roll-ups and the shops and the warehouses. And there's a door that's open and there's no one in it. And there's 2 NA Miatas on lifts and no one around. So my sneaky ass fucking sneaks in and I look and they have 15s on it. In the back of the shop, there's a stack of tires and I'm like, look over and I pull, there's a floor mat on top. And the first one is an original NA wheel with a fucking 185/60/14 on it. It's like, yes, success. Now there's another one, 3 or 4 tires down and they're all covered in spider webs and nasty. And I'm like, I'm not getting a Black Widow bite and getting arrested or shot.
And they're also from like 1999.
Doesn't matter. You know what they were? Round.
Those were around when you started.
Yeah, but we only had, at this point, we're 600 miles in. Like we only have, actually I know this. It's 147 miles from Thunder Hill to my shop. And I know this because Haggerty Roadside was 150 and I never worried about blowing up a car at Thunder Hill because I could always roadside at home. So I don't know whose shop this is. I just start looking around. There's a desk and I'm looking through paperwork and I finally see an invoice and it's like A+ race rentals or something. So I go to the website, there's a phone number. I call it, leave a voicemail and then send it a text. And somebody texts me back 20 minutes later and he's like, oh, Brandon's at the shop. Like, okay. So I go back to the shop and there's Brandon and he hands me 2 Miata wheels with 2022 Laufens on it. He's like, yeah, well, $30 each for the tires, but the boss wants the wheels back. No problem. Go over to tire guy. Hi, found 2 tires. He's like, get the fuck out. I'm like, yep. Can you pull these off? So we put the old, but still good-ish tires on the back of the Golf and put the Laufens on the front and drove home like it was nothing. And here we are.
With mismatched tires.
With mismatched. Well, and the fronts are 185/60. The rears are 195/60.
Okay, so you have extra grip in the back to help you put down all that high horsepower in the back.
Or extra rotational force up front to shorten the gear ratio and make it less than dangerously slow. So there is the full story.
So quite
of
the adventure or misadventure.
I think when I told you that we had broken down, your response was something about the Rover. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, for all of the distress that you had about the Rover, that it was more reliable than this thing.
So far, the Rover has done total of combined 3,000 miles of road trips probably, and not so much as a fucking hiccup in this thing. I mean, I can't blame it. Other than the crank position sensor, I mean.
So did you do any subsequent diagnosis or replacement?
When I brought it in for smog, it had a pending code for crank position sensor. So I think it was just that. And
have you replaced it yet?
It is in the shopping cart of my FCP Euro shopping basket.
So you were just, every time you try to start this thing, it's like...
I say a little bit of a Hail Mary. Hail Mary, holy fuck, please start the fucking car. Or something there.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't tell you this when you sent you out to drive it.
Yeah, when you sent me out to drive it and when we took it to lunch.
I mean, it's walking distance back to the studio.
It's hot today, but
it's very hot. But the AC is cold, and we could have pushed
it. Doesn't work if it's not running.
Yeah, it does if you push the car down a hill. There is none. Yeah, no. I'm going to try not to drive the car. I have teardrops from the bitch basket that I will put on.
That's a type of wheel, to clarify to the audience, as opposed to a state of Jason's mind.
I'm also crying from the loss of my masculinity in this car. I'll throw a set of teardrops on it, so at least the tires are not unsafe, and then I'll do a couple little maintenance things. I don't want to do the crank position sensor. It's a pain.
Well, then you have to find a VR6 in short order here, I suppose.
Yeah. They're around. I don't feel comfortable putting a 200,000 mile motor in a 70,000 mile car.
Yeah.
If I can avoid it.
And you don't want to cut up a nice car. You don't care. If it's a Jetta.
If it's a Jetta, I'm not too concerned. And the other thing is, if I have the time to do it, I will probably swap this drivetrain into whatever the donor car is.
Unless
it's
been bonked.
Yeah.
Terminally bonked.
But if I find honestly, if I found a 75,000 mile Jetta GLX VR6 and it was in nice shape, I'd swap this motor back in, and now it's a slow, one of one, incredibly rare Jetta GLX VR6 2-point slow package. I don't know. I mean, and sell
it with a new crank position sensor and a baggie.
Oh, well, when the engine's out, it's easier to do.
Okay.
I think you got to pull the starter on these motors. I just don't. And a fresh timing belt. Look at what a nice guy I am.
Okay. All right. Are VR6's timing chain or timing belt motors?
And they all need chains at high mileage.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, while I'm at Tectonics, everyone's like, well, you're going to VR swap that, right? Yeah, of course, obviously. And the guy who does the engine builds...
And you didn't find any VR6s through that conversation?
There was one that was an hour away. And I'm like, the guy didn't respond. But I said to one of the guys there, and who does the engine, like does the head work, and I'm like, there's one an hour away. Maybe if it drives, maybe we'll get it and we'll drive both of them home. And he's like, no. Roadside it here. Like, just have it picked up and put it on a truck and roadside it here. And I'll punch it out to 3 liters and put cams and do some head work for you. Mine, it's what I did to mine, and it puts 204 horsepower to the wheels.
Oh.
And I was like,
Did the guy reply?
Thank God not. But their point was, just go buy a really high mileage car. We'll pop it out to 3 liters and build it for you. And if anyone was going to build me a Volkswagen engine, it's Tectonics, like no question about it. I just don't know if I want to go to that level of, like, I'd love to get a low mileage car and just a low mileage donor and throw everything in. And instead use that money to pay Colin to build me the world's most amazing 16 valve and put that in the Scirocco. So I don't use oil anymore. But
good luck.
We'll
Jason's back in the VW saddle, the VW saddle.
No longer. I have now, if you count the rotting carcass of a Beetle in my front yard, which I probably should count, then I have 5 Volkswagens. It's a problem.
Is it a blessing?
It's I'm becoming like you with Mercedes. I have too many VWs. And even the guy, like I had guys at the house the other day because I'm getting solar installed, so I can, not pay electricity anymore. And they're like, "Oh, so are you into Volkswagens?" And I look and I'm like, "Oh shit, Scirocco, Cabriolet, Cabby, e-Golf, and the Beetle in the front yard." And I'm like, no, I swear. If you look down in the street, there's Beatrice, the shitbox E30s. Look, I have other, also German cars. Yeah. But
Jason has a type.
Yeah. And let me tell you, after hearing all those VRs.
And it's front wheel drive.
You shut your whore mouth. No, hearing those VRs on the dyno, I just can't wait.
Yeah.
Like nothing at Car Week. Nothing I heard at Car Week sounded anywhere near as good as those VRs on the dyno. It's top 5 best sounding engines of all time. And you've never really spent any time in one, have you?
Yeah, I've just driven the Corrado.
Stock.
Yeah.
Which sounds amazing, right?
Yeah, it does sound good.
Yeah. So there you have it. I have traded in a Beat for, shockingly, another Volkswagen.
You heard it here first, probably.
And no one is surprised. How many Scirocco Benzes did you buy this week? I mean,
I'm trying to divest.
Really?
I'm going to sell the purple wagon.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I know.
I really don't like that.
And we'll see. I'm in the midst of the big shuffle, as we have discussed on a previous episode. But
me too, apparently.
Yeah.
Trading in everything and getting Volkswagens.
Yeah. Me too, but it's Porsches.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. Well, do you have anything that you have, technically the Miura, do you have anything else that's also not German?
The Jag.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I had the Citroen before, and I've had 3 Alfa Romeos.
What you've had doesn't count. This is my problem, is now I have 1 Brit and 1 Italian. So the Rover and the Ferrari, my 2 oldest cars. But that's it. Everything else is German.
It's easy.
Oh, they're not.
Compared to British and Italian.
I mean, my British car doesn't have an engine in it, so.
Oh.
That's easy.
I mean, it's not leaking oil right now.
No, I bet it's still pouring off the frame rails.
Fair.
That car is a little leaky. But yeah, so the biggest surprise on this car to me is those fucking tires. Because one of the ones that failed was a 2013 and the other one was a 2011. So 3 of them were 11s, 1 was 13. They were all installed on this car in 2013. And I cannot believe they failed. Now, they still held air.
Well, it sounds like you should demand better tires.
Keep going.
I think you should probably demand Fredestein.
Maybe. I just don't think. I've never hesitated to drive on 15-year-old tires.
Yeah,
before.
me either.
Right?
Surprised. But you did say you were going, you were in Mexico at speed.
I did. I hit 100 for 1 photo op. Like, just because.
Well, they showed you should have done it when you were 4 miles from home instead of 400,000 miles.
I think it was
home.
the dyno. So we had my friend, our friend, you know him as well, that I was with, is a super nerd. And he was like, it was the dyno finished it off. And I'm like, I don't think so. And he's like, well, the roller's only 24 inches. And so the contact patch, I'm like, the roller's 48. And he's like, no, ChatGPT says it's 24. And I'm like, it's a 48 inch roller. It's a DynoJet 248, whatever. And we did have ChatGPT do a shit ton of calculations about what happens to the size and shape of the contact patch, i.e. how much more load is there concentrated on a small area. And it really shouldn't be much at all. But his theory was that the dyno finished it off. And I mean, they did the runs were 3rd gear. So that was only 80 something miles an hour. I have no idea how fast the car goes in 3rd, probably 82, something like that. So it wasn't all that fast. So it sounds like
you do have an idea how fast it goes in 3rd.
It's a guess. I don't know. Let's go max it out. Let's find out.
I'm not interested in that.
Well, there are Laufens on the front. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know what the fuck they're. And they're 2022 date code. But no, I mean, whatever it is, they failed in kind of a surprising way. And I think that.
Well, don't buy Granada tires. That's the takeaway from today's episode of the Carmudgeon Show.
You think that was, I mean, in all seriousness. So.
Well, I don't think that, I mean, I have driven faster on older tires before without incident.
I mean, the tires on the Cosworth, when I got it in Germany, were, I think, 12 or 13 years old. And I had that car maxed at 143 miles an hour for quite some time. And now I think back on that going, oh, wait a second. Maybe there is something to this. Like, I'm not going to ever replace tires at 5 years. I think that's like doing a timing belt at 5 years. I'm glad we did the timing belt on this because if I think about the length of time that car must have been sitting at, for a period of time, the belt probably looked fine 80% of the way around and then was just kinked somewhere else. Yes. And maybe that's what happened to the tires too. Maybe the car sat at one point for 2 or 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
And with like 12 pounds of air in the tires and just crinkled everything inside. But I find it really strange that both fronts failed sort of at the same time. And it was within an hour of putting on a dyno. So if there are tire engineers, we would like to know what you think about this.
Jason would like to.
Well, would you like to know when you should really actually get rid of that? The tires looked brand new. They had no tread wear whatsoever. They had full tread, not so much as a crack or a dry spot. They were deep, dark black. The car had sat in a clearly mild garage. So that's scary to me.
Yeah. Or maybe we have Granada to thank. Who knows? Grenada.
Boom. That was the other thing. I ran into Tom Hale on the road. So Tom came up in a previous episode. He's the one that showed that Isadora Duncan Amilcar. So after running into my buddy in Seattle and then running into the Tectonics people and then running into the friend at Thunder Hill, I said to my buddy, I'm like, hey, this is really funny. Like, I feel like this whole trip has just been and the kids in the parking lot. We just had a bunch of really fun social interactions. Like, isn't that great? And he's like, yeah. And then not shitting you, 20 minutes later, we're driving along and the two highways merge and I have a lane and they have a lane and they went up next to me and this guy starts honking. I'm like, what fucking moron I'm not merging into you. And I sort of glance over to my left and it's a gray Maserati GT. And I'm like,
4200.
4200. And I'm like, wow, that looks just like the car that oh my God, that's Tom Hale yelling at me. Had just driven 4,000 miles from Connecticut.
Yep. For car week.
Maxed it out on the salt flats. Did 130 miles an hour off road. Did 130 miles off road.
Oh,
and
yes.
Posted all of this to his Instagram. I'm like, you are a fucking hero. Also, what are you doing in Sacramento or wherever the hell we were? So we had lunch. He's like, where are you? So I screamed, we're going to Texas Roadhouse. And he's like, what? So I texted him, we're going to Texas Roadhouse 6 miles down the road. Join us for lunch. So he did. That was really fun, having those two cars side by side. And he's like, 4,000 miles on the highway. And I see this fucking flaming red Volkswagen Cabrio coming towards me. And I'm like, no, there's no way. But there can only be, he had seen the one post I made. He's like, there only could be one of those in that condition. And then he saw the temporary, it had no license plate on it and a temporary
permit.
And he's like, that's got to be Jason. And sure as shit.
That's wild.
Isn't it crazy? And so,
you had just done 1,000 miles.
Yeah. Not almost. Eight and change.
Worlds collide. Almost.
Oh, yeah,
almost collide.
Thank God there were no collisions.
Yes.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, change your tires at certainly before, if they're Grenadas, certainly before they Grenada on you,
and shortly after you dyno test them,
or just don't.
There's your lesson.
I will
today.
say. So this put 97.8 horsepower to the wheels. The last 8-valve Volkswagen that I owned was my Mk1 Cabriolet, which was a 1.8 8-valve. And that was before it was the other car before the 16-valve Cabriolet came along. And that was rated at 90 horsepower, and this one's rated at 115. So there's 25 horsepower spread between the two of them. That car put 87.8 horsepower to the wheels, exactly 10 less, which meant that 230,000 mile
it was
underrated that I bought for $600 was clearly underrated, which is why this feels so fucking slow.
Well, you'll soon rectify that. Somewhat soon.
I hope someone says, I just got rear-ended in my Jetta GLX VR6 and I'll keep the interior. Will you take the motor? So we'll see.
Well, we're putting the energy out in the universe for you, or however all that stuff
the last time I said something, the beat just poof went away. So that's your fault.
It's easier to find a buyer for a Beat, I suspect, than it is to find a wrecked GLX Jetta. Prove me wrong, world.
You found a buyer for the Lotus I guess you do have your OTS shirt on. I guess that's why OTS is so successful, because I merely think about something and the cars disappear.
Yeah, we're happy to help. All right, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Carmudgeon Show. I'm
going to go.
Let us know about your VR6 options. Thanks.
Isn't it pretty?
It's lovely.
I need to come up with a nickname for it. Because Cabriolet doesn't work. Cabriolet. I mean, that's the bitch basket.
The red car.
Seriously, that's literally what I've been calling it all day. The red car. I got to go get gas in the red car. But I mean, it could also be Erdbeerköpfchen, which is the German bitch basket, which is strawberry basket.
Yeah, and it is red like a strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
There's your plate.
All right, in the comments, give us funny nicknames.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.